To help you with the placement of elements on your page, you can use a layout grid. Divide your page into a framework. Now, I'm only going to go into a quick overview of working with layout grids here, but let me point you to my course here at LinkedIn Learning, Working with Grids in InDesign. So the layout grid, I'll come to my layers panel where I have several layers that are currently hidden. The layout grid is divided into the following areas, or is made up of the following areas. We have the type area, the area within the margins. We have rows, the horizontal divisions. We have columns, the vertical divisions. We have the space between the rows and the columns, the gutters. And together they make up grid fields, or squares in this case. And each of those grid fields has an active corner, the top left, and it is at the top left corner that you place your elements. So I'll press W to turn my guides back on. Now I have added my grid in this document, and I like to do this. I've added it on a separate layer so that if it gets a little bit visually overwhelming, I can just turn that layer on and off. But I'll now recreate it. And because I want the grid to appear on all of my document pages, I'll recreate it on the parent page. Now here I have my parent page spread divided into 12 columns because 12 is a number that's very flexible, divisible by 2, 3, 4, 6. And I want to add some rows to go with my columns. And I can do that using this option, Create Guides. And there's no right number here. You just need to find a number that works for you. You find your own comfort level. I am going to use 8 rows. Any more, and it's just going to create too much visual clutter. And any less, and I feel like I won't have enough divisions. So I'm going to go with 8. The gutter space is the same size as the space between the columns. And I am fitting these to the margins. If I were to fit them to the page, I would get an entirely different result. In this case, I want them fitted to the margins. So when you've created your layout grid, you can then arrange your content accordingly. And you don't need to follow it unthinkingly. It's there to guide you. You can break the grid if you need to, but it can suggest to you the placement of elements on the page. And I'm aware that this example is perhaps a little contrived because it is reverse engineered, but hopefully you can see that the layout grid is really informing where I put elements on the page and where I can make the best use of white space that will give me a more dynamic layout.